Welcome to episode 32 of the Mile 20 podcast where epic shit happens. My name is Lori and I'm here with my bestie,
Laura.
And we're coming to you from Camp Château, from Château de Bédouet.
It's easy for you to say.
Here in the middle of France, where an all-women's summer camp has cropped up and has become quite the hit. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Philippa Girling, the CEO and founder of Camp Château, and I'm so excited to spend a few minutes with her.
So hope you enjoy it. Philippa Girling is a former high-powered banking executive who spent nearly 3 decades in leadership roles at top financial institutions, including Morgan Stanley and Capital One. After serving as a chief risk officer and earning her PhD in global affairs, Lori, I don't think we have any right sitting with Philippa right now.
No, I'm definitely not worthy.
She walked away from corporate life to build something really different. It's called Camp Château, and it's a women-only summer camp in the French countryside, which is where we are right now. I just got goosebumps. And it's designed for rest, connection, and joy,
which I've experienced all week long.
Oh God. And I know, I know our whole conversation is going to be about that. So, yeah. And this was drawing on Philippa's childhood summertime in France and her vision for a space where women don't have to perform or self-optimize. Philippa has created one of the most in-demand wellness experiences in Europe with a wait list. I just got goosebumps again, a wait list of over 11,000 women. So Philippa, welcome to the Mile 20 podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, welcome. Yes.
Oh my gosh, this has just been an absolutely wonderful experience.
It is. And we're going to also have an episode next week where we kind of recap about our actual experience. So we probably won't dive too much into it today, but oh my gosh, it has been a dream. An absolute dream.
You know, like you have those couple of experiences in your life where it's like, this is just like, it's in my head. I can never get it out. I will always have the visions very, very
core
clearly. Core memories. This is one of those. So tell us a little bit about Camp Château. What is it truly about? I mean, we gave a little bit of a little teaser there.
Yes, Camp Château came out of 3 different things in my life, really. My 2 co-founders and I think part of the personality of Camp Château is because of my co-founders and I. One is my best friend, and the other is my eldest daughter. And so we have a cross-generational view of what women want.
Yeah.
And the 3 of us fell in love with the Château first. We had no idea of Camp Château until we met the Château de Bédouet.
Yes.
And then once we had fallen in love with it, which took about 13 seconds.
Right.
Arrival.
We understand that.
Same.
We understand that.
It wraps its arms around you and says, welcome.
Yes.
It's an amazing magic to building itself.
Yes.
So there's one thing was the building and the location. This area in France I love. I've been coming here for 20 years. My mother had a house here in the valley. And this is full of lovely, restorative, joyful memories.
Yes.
Another piece is that my children and I have always had this sort of folklore story we tell when we're on holiday together, which is let's start a camp.
Oh,
so
I love that.
we could have zip line over here and cabins over there, and it was just a fantasy conversation we would have on holiday, wherever we were in the world.
Yes.
And it was always for children.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be fun one day to run a camp? So that little nugget was in the back of my head. But the thing that made Camp Château is 25, 30 years in a patriarchal financial services industry.
Yes.
And I have to tell you, it's exhausting as a woman.
I get that.
Yes.
And so we're in this property talking about what could we do with this beautiful property. And the conversation went to, well, if only more women could experience the joy that I get to experience every time I come to this valley.
Yeah.
And it went for this little nugget of, this was for women. And very quickly, we went, well, how many would have to come? We don't want a luxury experience. We want an inclusive experience. Well, then we have to have multiple beds in a room. Well, then it's camp.
Yes.
And if it's camp, there should be badges. And like, I think ballooned from there.
Yeah.
And very much at the heart of it always was, we do not want to create something where women feel they have to come to improve themselves.
Yes.
All you hear all your life as a woman, from when you're a young girl, is here's how you could do better.
Yeah.
Here's how you could make your life better.
Yes.
Be less you.
Yeah.
Be more like him most of the time. So if we create something where the only thing you have to do is come, and then everything else you get to curate whatever brings you joy. If you need to do everything, do everything. If you need to do nothing, do nothing. And we'll just give you the space to do that. And let's see what happens. And we thought maybe we could fill 6 weeks.
Right.
Surprise!
So the
No idea. Millions of women were going to come. We had 24 million views on one of our Instagrams.
Yes.
Like, there, that many women out there. We're like, yes, this.
There's a need.
There is a need. So the very first summer you opened up, you're just getting started. Was it full right away? Were you selling out or?
No. The first summer, which was 2023.
Yeah.
All those years ago.
All those years ago.
Not. It's a blip, right? It's a blip.
2 seasons ago. I actually went back and had a look at how many people came. I was looking at the reporting for how many people coming, and I was looking, and we had 139 paying campers in 2023.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. So like a session and a half almost.
And now
Wait,
we
no.
have
Yeah.
900. 1 year later, we had 900.
Wow.
And now we have 2 properties. Next year, we'll have 1,800.
Yes,
That is absolutely. It's incredible. So why do you think there is such a draw to Camp Château?
Yeah. So the very first year, the women who came the first year were coming to a thing that didn't exist. Right? We had ads that said, here's a beautiful building. Here's what we plan to do here. You should come.
Yes.
But there's no evidence that it's real.
Yes.
So the very first year, I was super nervous. Is this going to work at all? I mean, the first day, I thought I was going to be sick. I was
Oh, I bet.
waiting for people to arrive, thinking, what if they hate it?
What if they don't
What if
come?
we're just wrong? No, it was horrible. And then within the first day, people were laughing, people were having a good time. And then at the end of one of the early weeks, I was standing in the courtyard on the Sunday when people check out. And there was one woman standing in the courtyard, and you know now how beautiful that courtyard is.
Yes.
She's standing in the courtyard looking at the walls. And I said to her, are you just soaking this in one last time? And she said, yeah, I'm trying to imprint it on my brain. I need to take it home with me. I need to take this feeling home with me. And I said to her, why do you think this is working? So I have my own theories. But what do you think?
Yeah.
I said, my theory is that all the women who came this first year, they came to something they didn't know was real. So they're all really brave, bold women.
Yeah.
And because that's the sort of women that they are, they've just bonded. And that's why it has been so special. And she said to me, no. I was
No.
like, oh. She said, no, it's not that. I said, oh.
I was believing it. I'm like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah.
She said, no, it's not that. It's that we all hoped it was real. She said, it was hope.
Yeah.
And that's still true today. People arrive hoping it's going to be this beautiful experience that they're hoping for. And then they make it that experience. Because you have 50 women who arrive with hope.
Yes.
It makes for a beautiful connection between everybody.
And not just 50 women that are just across the board. You have different, nationalities, different ages. The ages from like 23 to whatever. I don't know in our group right now, but it's just such a broad spectrum of women. And I think one of the most beautiful experiences of the week is like watching how everybody's very individual when they come in. And as the week progresses through, the various activities or inactivity, they find common connection and a common thread that makes you realize that we have like this common feminine experience, which is amazing.
Well, women, it turns out, are actually amazing.
Yeah.
We knew that.
We knew that.
Totally knew that.
But when you put them all together, it's astonishing, actually.
Yeah.
How amazing. And the intergenerational thing, I think, is one of the beautiful things I wasn't expecting at all. The first year, a lot of the demographic was me. Right, because it was people I knew or people who knew someone who I knew. It was like I was Kevin Bacon that first year.
Right.
You know better. And so it was more my demographic. And then by the next year, it was gone. And suddenly we've got people in their 20s, we've got people in their 70s, we've got people from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, and all races, all ages, all backgrounds.
Yes.
You've got people, someone who's a CEO, somebody who's a student. And they just meet and share. And the thing that they have in common is that they're women.
Absolutely love that. So, and I will spill the tea on like my favorite experience was discoing last night.
I love it so much.
And I had a moment where we all had our headphones on. So for people who don't know what silent discoing is, you have headphones on, you listen to music, nobody else can hear it, but we're all like dancing to similar music. And you had one of the girls who's 23, one of the women who was over 70, myself, I'm in my 50s.
Yeah.
And we're all dancing. And it was just like this moment where it's like we're all coming together for music and fun and just release.
I started crying.
I know.
I'm not going to lie.
I know.
It gets me every time.
Yeah.
It's the most fun.
It's
the first
time
fun.
I've ever done it. And I was like,
the most fun.
I want to do that again.
I love
and
it
again and
so
again.
much.
Yeah.
And I usually go, last night my jet lag hit me.
Yeah,
I totally
yes.
understand.
But I go and I dance my socks off every time. But that for me this year, because we only introduced it this year, silent disco. We wanted it from the first year, but we introduced it this year. And there's a moment every time I go to it where I will just look around and there's 50 women dancing and singing at the top of their lungs.
Yes.
So if you take your headphones off, you just hear all these women singing. And someone said to me, why choose one key when you can sing in them all? Just having the best time. But there's this look of joy on people's faces that makes me cry every time.
I totally
I'm
agree.
tearing up already.
Yeah,
I really am.
So Philippa, I really resonated with your story because you talk about working in an industry where it's, the patriarchy. So I'm former U.S. Army military, and I also worked in financial services as an executive.
Wait, she's being polite because she was also went to West Point, which
so,
so
and was one of
is that a tiny bit patriarchal?
just a
little bit.
Just a little bit.
But one of the things that I read in an article, and this really resonated. I kept saying to Lori, I was like, I need to ask this one. You made a comment at one point in time where you felt like you were stuck in a lane. And when you think about like the leap that you made from going from corporate America to what you're doing right now, and I tell you what, I get your vibe so much because you can tell you were loving what you were doing right now. So for other women, I'm at that crossroads right now where I feel like I'm stuck in a lane. I work for a big telecom company in the United States. So like when you talk to other women, how do they recognize it that, hey, you know what, you might be a little stuck, but then is there any advice you can give to other women, maybe like myself, where it's just like, it's
okay.
And
Yeah. Well, 3 or 4 weeks ago now, there was a fete here in Village, Fête de Bedouin. It's a lot of fun. Every village in France has a fete to celebrate that I'm a village. It's really the only
I love that.
It's just like, we're a village.
That's wonderful.
Let's party for 3 days.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Like a little block party kind of thing?
Except, yes.
Okay.
Big block party.
Got it.
Late into the night. Okay. And so I was here with the mayor cooking sausages, serving them to the village. It was loads of fun. And then everybody from camp came down and they joined in the party. We get them little drinks tickets and they take part in the fun. It's really fun. And there's one woman there. I finished my sausage making. It smelled like a sausage. And I went around to say hello to our campers, and there was a woman who came beelined straight for me, and she said, I have to talk to you because I'm 68 and I have been feeling like I am invisible. She said, and I'm looking at you.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible.
And I feel like you don't have to be invisible. I said, no, this is the age. This third age is the age. This is where all that experience, all of that ability that you've been developing, that tool belt, you've been filling the tools the whole of your life. Now you get to choose what you want to do with them. You're not looking after a family. You're not responsible for someone else's happiness. You're allowed to change direction, feel responsible for yours. And she said, I think I'm going to do new things. I said, do new things.
Yes.
Do new things, because you have so much knowledge. And she said to me that one of the joys that she got from camp this week is that young women wanted to talk to her.
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting? She said, I haven't talked to young women in such a long time. So I think that's the important thing as we get to crossroads in our lives, is to not lose sight of the fact that what you know is a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? You meet someone in their 20s, you think, well, honey.
Yeah.
That's so sweet that you think that. Let me help you understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
So first thing I'd say is that I actually think as women get older, they get more and more and more powerful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we just have to lean into that power. Right? You get bolder, you get powerful, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, you also are probably going to have a threshold moment where you could decide, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, or I'm going to completely do something else. And it takes a lot of guts to do the else.
Yes.
Yeah, I think for me, like that's like the last piece is like because you just said, you know when you know, but it's how do you get that courage to take that next leap? I mean, Lori and I doing the podcast, right? Like this is something new for the
that's
two
great.
of
Both
us,
of
right?
us.
And
Yeah.
we had to do so much research to like know how to do all of this stuff. And
I dragged my feet for a long time. I was the holdout. I'm like, I don't know.
it's okay, but now it's
I'm like, let's
something
just
that's
do
bringing
it.
us joy, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thing is just how do you finally take that leap? And it's scary, right? When you make a change, because you know that it's gonna change your life,
Right.
and other people around you as well.
And how people look at you.
Yes.
And they may not be supportive, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, starting Camp Château, I had people in my circle who were so down on it.
Really?
So down.
We were wondering that what kind of support you got, or
Well,
kind of
I've
like the naysayers at the beginning.
Well, my husband's fantastic, super supportive cheerleader, and he comes here in summer and pulls ivy off the walls. He loves to just be involved and do whatever we need him to do. He's fantastic. Other members of my family and friends, not always, there's some of the comments were, why on earth would you do that? In a kind of, who do you think you are that you could do that? Kind of way.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I hear a lot of women get that. People are like, why do you think you can do that?
Right. What if this, and it
Have you
starts
thought about all these things that can go wrong? Of course. Completely obsessed with all the things that can go wrong.
Because after giving your introduction, like you weren't successful at all in the rest of the things that you tackled in your
there
life,
were a couple
right?
of moments where I'm like, because I suck at everything I do.
Where's this coming from? Like, where's the track record?
That's not your lane.
Yeah.
You're in this lane. Why
Right.
do you want to go over into that lane?
Because it's faster and more fun.
And because I'm ready for change. So I did have, we were talking about this a little bit before we started, so I did have a kind of epiphany moment in my early 50s.
This is the mile 20 moment.
My mile 20 moment is what I'm talking about. I was working in a really great job, very well paid, very senior job as a chief risk officer. And in my early 50s, I'm trying to think, these last 8 years have gone by. So I think I was probably 52. And my job was incredibly high stress at that point. We were missing a key person in the team, so I was doing both jobs, and I was just burning out.
Oh, yeah.
And my children had all grown up and were now off doing their adult things.
Mm-hmm.
And at this moment, I was like, I'm just not okay with where I am right now. And my husband was going off on a golf trip for a few days. And my girlfriend said to me, let's all go to Vegas. I'm like, oh God, no.
Yeah.
The last thing I need right now is Vegas. What is
To burn off the stress.
Right, yeah.
Oh, I know how that would go down with us.
All the stress. I said, okay, what's the complete opposite of Vegas? So the opposite of Vegas would be a silent retreat.
Yes.
So I'm going to find a silent retreat. I'm just going to go away. And it's really hard to find a silent retreat, actually, that isn't very religious or very woo-woo.
Okay.
I just wanted, can I no one talk to me? And I finally found this place up here in upstate New York, near Rochester. which was a monastery, but you don't have to talk to any monks. It's like, if you'd like to talk to a monk about your spiritual journey, you can. If not, you don't have to. Perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
So I flew up to Rochester. I let my admin assistant and my husband know, here's the phone number at the monastery if somebody is actually dying. I mean, if they've died, probably you don't need to call me. But if they're...
Yes.
So it's a really specific breakthrough call. And leave me alone. So I gave them the number. I went off to Rochester. I rented a car at the Rochester airport and drove to this monastery. I got to the monastery and they put me in this little tiny, almost like nun's room, very basic room. So I settled in, got back in my car, put in liquor store. On my GPS. Drove off to the nearest liquor store, bought a very beautiful bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, yeah.
This really lovely red wine and bags of chips.
Yes.
And then I turned off my phone. I went back, drove back, so I knew the way now, and put my phone away and went to bed. So the next morning I woke up and I thought, right, what am I going to do? What am I going to do now? And I'll go for a walk. I'm going to walk away for an hour, turn around, and walk back. Just clear my head.
Yeah.
So I looked on the little map on the wall. I picked a little journey that looked like it was about an hour, and I set off out of this monastery building and went over a little bridge that was over a stream. And I'm like, oh, metaphor.
Yeah.
I'm crossing into something else. And at that moment, I think I'm going to try and remember who I am.
Oh, that's,
But
yes.
trying to remember your life is really hard
Yeah.
to do because it's all a big blur. So I'm just going to go back 2 years at a time, work my way back. So as I'm walking, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
What
I'm
was
loving
I-
this journey.
Okay, what was I doing 2 years ago? That I can remember. I'm like, oh yeah, I took this job. I was doing that job. Why did I do that? I remember now. Okay, what was I doing 2 years before that? Yeah, I had this other job and I was doing this and my daughter was doing that and blah, blah, blah. And I just walked back through my life 2 years at a time. So I would get to 1980 and it's a curve in the river because it was all along the river at the end. And I'd be stepping over a log and it'd be 1980. What was I doing? By then I could remember.
Yeah.
And I went back through my children being born, my second marriage, my first divorce, my first marriage, my university years. I just have worked back. And quite a lot of it was me understanding my relationship with my parents.
Yes.
Quite a lot of it. And as I went back, I could see myself getting younger and younger and younger. I had some forgiveness for myself, the decisions that I'd made. I found it easier to see, oh yeah, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
Other people wanted me to do that. That's why I did that.
Yeah.
And there's some really painful moments, and there's loss in there, and I journeyed all the way back. And then my earliest memory I got to, I was 3, and I was reaching up for my mother's hand, and she took it. And I stopped and thought, that's as far back as I can go. And it was 1 hour. Which I went, oh, great. So then I turned around and then I walked back 2 years at a time. And so then I went back and I remembered it all again in the right order. And by the time I had finished that 2-hour walk, I knew exactly who I was.
That's amazing.
And the biggest feeling I had at the end of that was, I am not done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I felt completely powerful in that moment. I just thought, I can do something else. I can change the world a little. I don't have to just only be looking down into my family and my life. I can start looking out into, even if I can just change it a tiny bit, just one little tiny movement of a needle,
Yeah.
it's worth it.
And you think about now the impact that your dream of putting together Camp Château and the impact that it has had on so many women is just, it's got to be the most incredible feeling.
It's a weird blend between joyful and overwhelming, and I don't know, I have a lot of feelings.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you had your camp the first season was a little smaller, right? More intimate friends and extended, the Kevin Bacon theory. But and then all of a sudden you do wind up going viral and you have this massive explosive growth. Like, how have you been able to manage with all of that, handle it, looking forward as far as growth goes? And
because you've started now like a second location, so
Yeah.
you got to be investing in it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I look back so for me, the thing that came out of that journey that I went through was
Yes.
women. I want to do women and diversity and inclusion. I'm just tired of women, and particularly women of color, just not ever getting a fair place in the world and being asked all the time to change.
Yeah.
Right? So the fact that we are able to do this for more women than I imagined is absolutely fantastic. It really is. I thought we would be able to impact a few hundred lives. We were able to impact thousands of lives. And that piece, that only brings joy. Right? There was a moment last year when we were considering whether to expand to a second site. When we were talking to our investors about it and saying, I was so excited when we got to a wait list of 3,000. I thought, this is fantastic. We do not need to worry about this business. This business is going to be fine.
Yeah.
We've got 10 years worth of people coming.
We're good.
Fine.
Yeah.
Once it got to 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, it's like, oh no, now there are more women disappointed and sad that they can't come.
Yeah.
Than women who are happy that they can. So now we're not delivering on our mission. Our mission is to create inclusive spaces for women. And there's all these women who can't be included. So it actually became something we had to have a second site.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair that any woman can't come. And I still hate the fact that it sells out in 7 minutes. So people get very upset that they can't come.
And I actually experienced this. So when Lori and her group of swim mom friends had signed up, Lori had sent me the link, and it was still available. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Yeah,
It was before.
Yes,
That was the before.
this was before it went viral, and just life work, and I'm like, okay, like I'll get to it. So it was maybe 3 weeks later, and I texted Lori and I was like, oh, Lori, it's sold out. And she's like, wait, what? And it was, I got in between them sending that to me and the viral video that, just kind of exploded everything. Unfortunately, somebody had to drop out and I was able to get a slot. But I feel so incredibly blessed that I've been able to experience this, because I feel like it's life-changing for me.
And people will often say to me at the end of the week, that was just a beautiful week of my life.
Absolutely.
And I'm so glad I had that week. And then I feel joy for them. And I feel sad for the people who can't come. So part of it is we have to expand. And this is what I said to our investors too, is because some of the views were, well, it's great, let's just put the price up. No. So first of all, no, we're never doing that.
Because that is such an exclusive.
That's exclusive.
Yeah,
Yes.
More people should be able to come, not less people. And we owe it to women. Let's find them more, which is why we started Pocket Château as well online.
Oh, talk about that. Yeah, we wanted to dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. So Pocket Château, we wanted to see, is there a way we could create a space online, which seems almost impossible these days, that's actually relaxing, inclusive, and joyful. There's no trolling, there's no ads to tell you should be slimmer, taller, have more hair, have less hair, be more beautiful, whatever it is that you're being told to do. Just a lovely space that recreates the feeling of camp.
Yeah.
And let's do it at a price point that's affordable for lots and lots of people, and just see. And I mean, we started only in February.
Yeah.
There's a few hundred women on there. It's the most beautiful place on the internet. Happy, lovely, chatty, friendly, beautiful place. And we do online electives, and then I think tonight we're doing our first little documentary, which we'll all be watching tonight.
Yes.
So if you could talk about that a
as
little
well.
bit, because we're excited to go and see that.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
I'm loving this because I feel like you're like, I was going to ask all these questions, but
No,
I feel like it's just coming out
it's
naturally.
just coming out.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The little documentary, our team, our Pocket Chateau team, have been following us around during the prep week. And there's an interview between Erica and I. Erica's our camp director here, just talking about what's it like getting ready for camp. And it's a really lovely way of just seeing behind the scenes how things go. Because what we do behind the scenes is as much as we can so that it all looks easy for the campus. So there's very low stress for the campus. The first year, people could see how hard we were working, and that was worrying. Because women, being women, were always offering to help. Can I help you with that? Can I help you with this? And you're like, no, this is your week of not helping.
Yeah.
No one's going to rent your brain or your time for free this week. Your week is relaxed. And so you get a glimpse of really what goes on behind the scenes and all the people behind the scenes.
So the people are absolutely wonderful. Your
Wonderful.
Staff, absolutely wonderful. Like they are so endearing and so personable and relatable. So how did you pick your staff? What's the process?
Nearly all of them picked us. Like almost every person who works at camp has this magical story of how they got to be working at camp. It's almost creepy. It's just everybody is
spiritually godlike. That everybody winds up exactly where they're supposed to be. You create something good and it becomes magnetic.
Well, this is the thing that I have absolutely learned is and we're back to the original question, how do you change your life and do something different? If you put something out into the universe, I now completely believe the universe will just deliver.
Yeah.
The idea that we would be able to staff not one, but 2 chateaux, and we would find 2 chateaux, fill them with beautiful people who love what they do.
Yeah.
That's just not something you can set out to do and do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's very, very hard to hire great people who are really, really happy.
Yes.
And it just is. I used to have very large teams when I was working in banking with hundreds of people in those teams. And the work of looking after them and nurturing them and helping them progress, it's full-time, hard work to lead a team. Here, what we ask everybody is, what brings you joy?
Yeah.
And we have these interviews with people where we'll ask, what brings you joy? They tell us what brings them joy. I'm like, oh, that's a thing we need right now. Would you like to do that here? And then they move into that job. And if you talk to any one of our staff, how did you get to be here? They will have a lovely story about why they're here. And 2 of them, yesterday I was having pizza with a couple of people on the staff, and one of them was telling me that she and someone else in the team spent half an hour crying together. I was like, oh, why? She said, because we're so happy.
Oh my God.
What? She said, yeah, we were just so happy that we have these jobs. I was like, oh my God.
That's
so rare.
So impactful.
Well, and that joy, of course, is
just
so important.
Yes.
And it comes out and you know that the staff, I mean, I have not gotten any kind of feeling where somebody feels like they're forced, energy, and you could just tell like everyone is what you said earlier, about people's authenticity, being yourself. Like every single person we've interacted with has been like truly authentic, and you just you feel it.
You do.
You totally feel that.
And there's a lot of things that they're doing. It's something they thought they never could do. Right? They all thought that they had to be on this track over here, the responsible track. And what they found is that I can work hard and get paid well and be doing something I love. That exists.
Yes.
And it does exist.
Imagine that.
But sometimes, sometimes you have to be brave. I mean, there are definite moments along the way where I had to be, and my co-founders and I had to be fearless at times. And there were quite a few times where I would just think, I'm just going to jump and see.
Yeah.
Jump and see.
Speaking of your co-founders, how is it having a business with your best friend and your eldest daughter? Like, how does that work? All that synergy and
well, and more than that, actually, two more of my children work.
oh,
in the company.
now more. Okay.
Which was not the intention at all.
Yes.
And so we're like the yin to the yang of succession.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. I love that.
The opposite of that. So I think you have to be thoughtful about it. You have to be able to say at times, okay, let's have a conversation as co-founders right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, I need to call my bestie. Do some chat. I gotta call my daughter, go see the grandbaby. And then we'll change what is the conversation we're having right now. I think one of the things as a family we've had to do, and my children are better at this than me, is draw lines.
Okay.
And say, okay, today is a no work day. I'm not allowed to talk because we all enjoy it so much.
Right.
It's really hard not to talk about it.
Yes.
Because we're like, what if we did? Oh, no, let's not talk about that right now. Well, we could, no. So it's quite hard to turn it off.
Yes.
But so setting some boundaries and then having conversations with someone that's very thoughtful to say, okay, can we now have a mother-daughter conversation? Or my kids will say to me, is this meeting over? Because I want to talk to mom. It's like, yeah, let's move on.
I love that.
I love that.
So you mentioned earlier about, when you would travel with your children, your family, that you would be in a location and dream about how do you make it a camp. And, we put the zip line here and so forth. So when you were putting the camp together, earlier you mentioned about like, hey, we have a camp, we need to have patches. Like, how did the programs that you have brought into Camp Château, how did they come about, and how have they just continued to evolve? You mentioned, the silent disco, like that's something new. So how did the different programs come about, and how did you draw on the dreaming that you had? How did that influence?
Yeah, it was interesting. We went very quickly from we love this beautiful property to having a pitch deck. It actually was weeks, really quick.
Wow.
Because the ideas it just came.
Like explosive?
Yes. Like, as soon as we started brainstorming, as soon as we got to the vein of summer camp for women, you are not working on yourself. Like, these were two fundamentals. It's like, we do not want anything that feels like, oh, I'm improving myself right now. And so quite a few people would pitch ideas around something where we would go, no, because that feels like you have to achieve something, and we don't want you to achieve. It's every badge is a participatory badge.
Right. Love the badges.
Yeah, love the badges.
I went kayaking.
Great idea.
I sucked at kayaking, but I went kayaking.
Yeah.
Or I made jam. My jam is delicious. It was the process of making jam, which is what I'm celebrating.
Yes.
Or I lay by the pool. And so one of the important things wasn't so much the content of the activities. It was the non-activities was really important, because we came up with things like jam making and crepe making and yoga and watercolors and all of those things that you can do.
Yes.
And then we had a realization, oh no, there's going to be women who come who are going to be all about the badges, and they're not going to give themselves permission to rest. We're going to have to give them an excuse to rest.
Yeah.
So then we decided, all right, there's a I lay in a hammock badge.
Yes.
I lay by the pool badge.
Taking a nap
I
badge.
took a nap badge.
Yes, love
I
it.
book badge.
Yes.
And so that helped us once we had the concept, then it was really easy to come up with new ideas. And each year we add new classes, and we're trying to find local people to teach. So our values are authenticity, excellence, community, and joy. And for the community piece, we really want to be hiring locals. We don't want to be, dropping in and withdrawing from the economy. We want to be dropping in and building the economy.
Yes. So when you started the camp, also, because you obviously have different activities where we go off site, right? Yeah. So we went horseback riding. We're going to go kayaking this afternoon.
Yes.
So we're super excited about that. So how did you start that logistics infrastructure? Because the amount of wine that we've been drinking at the chateau, I'm like, oh man, like, suppliers and so forth. So how did you go about that? Because I mean, it was such a short period of time between when you purchased the chateau, I'm sure, like bringing it up to, where you wanted it to be before everybody came in, like just physically. But how did you get the logistics, established?
Well, here's a secret that we all know. Women are amazing.
Yes.
And detail-oriented.
Yes.
And thoughtful about other people's needs. And so when Leah and Linda and I, they're my co-founders, we were sitting down brainstorming, and Tegwin, who's actually my youngest child, who's non-binary, they and Leah, Linda and I were brainstorming, what do we need to do to get ready for camp? And Leah and I in particular are detail-oriented project management planners. So that's who we are.
Yes.
Yeah, let's get all the tasks, break them down into subtasks, put them all into a spreadsheet.
You're talking my language, girl.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the conversations were about, so two big buckets. One was the experience of physically being at camp. What the bed's going to be like? What's the furnishing going to be like? What do people need in the bathroom? How are we going to feed them? How are we going to get them from one place to another? When is lunch? How is lunch? How is dinner? Okay, all of the logistics around being at camp is one. Then another piece was all the activities. How do we get the staff? How do we get the materials? How do we do everything? And so that first year, which we were all here on site from around April in 2023, and coming and going, all of us, great. We physically structured everything, and then we talked through what would a woman want and what have we missed. Down to, we need ribbons on the beds so that people know I'm in this bed, which means this is my hook in the bathroom, which means that this is my little cubby for my stuff in the bathroom. Like just the little things that people need to not have to worry about something. So that you're not then thinking, well, where's my son? So that, I think Leah and Linda in particular are really good at that.
Okay.
What are the little things we need to make sure we've done? And we walk through the day over and over again. We walk through the check-in day over and over again.
Yeah.
How's this actually going to work? And then the first year, I was doing really Valerie's job. Valerie's now our RA.
Yeah.
So I was living in the chateau on the third floor, because the third floor wasn't open to campus yet the first year. So I was living there, and I would get up at 6 a.m. to make sure the breakfast ran smoothly.
Yeah.
And I would be cleaning dishes at midnight.
Oh,
in bed at 1.
That's exhausting.
But that's all.
Yeah.
I just worked.
Yes.
And worked. And Tegwin did too, because Tegwin was the camp director that first year.
Yes.
They worked. And between the two of us, we just made sure we were trying to get ahead of every single thing that could go wrong. And we learned, really, really learned. And there were 25 people a week that year. And then at the end of the summer, we went, okay, now, how many people do we actually need to hire? Lots of people.
Yeah.
So then this year, we really got to the point where it's not like it was at all. It's not that exhausting at all. So part of it was very, very careful, thoughtful planning and very empathetic planning. What might people want? And then it was just working really, really hard for the first season. And then by the time we got to the next season, we have it. So that we feel comfortable opening the second property. We know how it's done.
I love that.
So with the chateau, when you first found it, you decided you were going to purchase it. How did the village respond to you guys arriving into town? Yeah. And did you have any local connections prior to that? I know your mom had a place here in the valley and all of that, but this particular in Bedway here.
So we made the offer to the owner, Roy. He had been here since the 80s. Mm-hmm. And before him was this fantastic woman, Jean Lobiton, who's fantastic history, which I'm going to be talking about in the history talk today. And so we really only met him. And we made an offer which included for him a life interest staying in the conciergerie, because he did not want to leave. His family wanted him to sell it. He was in his 80s. He didn't want to sell. He knew he had to. And so we gave him a life interest in the little building on the edge of La Grange.
Okay.
And he can come whenever he wants. We sort of adopted him.
Love that.
So is he
connected.
still here?
He comes 2 or 3 times in the summer.
Oh,
I love that.
fantastic.
Yeah. And then once he'd accepted the offer, when I came back here, I arranged to meet with the mayor. And the mayor is wonderful. Yeah. So I went to see him, and he speaks good English, which was really wonderful.
Helpful.
But I went intending to try and speak French.
Yeah.
And what I said to him is something that I learned when I was in my career, because I was often coming in with big change management.
Mm-hmm.
So the questions I always ask people are, what are you hoping that we're going to do? And what are you hoping we're not going to do?
Oh, perfect.
So I met with him and I said, right, so buying the chateau, what is the village hoping we're going to do? And what is the village hoping we are not going to do? Because this is your chateau.
Right.
It's been here since 1200s.
Yes.
We've just arrived.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we really hate the weddings. Now, we had a business plan in mind that was, we'll do weddings outside of camp. We'll do 6 weeks of camp.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get up to 8 weeks of camp. We now do 22, by the way.
So wild.
That's crazy.
8 weeks of camp, and then before and after, we'll do weddings.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting with him, and he looks at me and he says, the village hates the weddings.
Right.
Because they go till 4 in the morning in France. They're loud, everything from the chateau cascades down into the village. And so I looked at him and I said, right, well, we will not do any weddings. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, right, rewrite the business plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but community.
Yes.
And so as soon as I said that, he said, oh, okay. I said, so what would you like us to do? He went, well. And he went from, slightly, we don't know who this person is, to, oh, this might be something we can work.
Totally engaged.
Yeah.
And he said to me, well, every year at the Fête Bedouet, the children have candle-lit lanterns that they light down at the church, and then they wind their way through the village, and then they like to end up in the courtyard of the chateau. Would that be okay?
Oh my gosh, that's lovely.
Yes. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can say yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so our approach with the village is we never say no. So if Benoit, the mayor, says to me, can we hold a symposium in the Grand Salle, all the local tourist office need to get together once a year to talk about the year, and I would really like, as the mayor of the village, to be able to offer that they come to the chateau, I say absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
We
that.
will open it up, we'll put the heating on, we'll help you with the chairs, absolutely.
I love
Wonderful.
And at one point, the school here in the village, they said, would it be okay if the children came up at one point and had a little picnic in the grounds? I said, absolutely. And so now they come at the beginning of the summer and the end of the summer. All the children from the 2 villages come and they just play in the grounds and they picnic and they get toured around by their teachers. Just always say yes.
Yeah, that's
And
fantastic.
then that relationship with the village has become really strong, really good. And we have an interesting reputation locally. I would say.
Really?
Yes. So one that I love that cracks me up is in Figeac, which is the local market town.
Yes.
What I've heard is that we are the lesbian commune.
Oh.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'll take it. We're not,
Yeah.
but sure. So there's like who are all those women up there? We're like, it's not quite
And
witches,
what
but
are you doing?
and they're always singing and laughing up there. What's going on? But what I heard this year in particular, and I'm starting to hear rumors of it, but this year in particular, some of the people who come and work for us and some of the campers who've stayed in Figeac have told me that people talk so highly of us and what we're doing. And the most beautiful thing somebody said to me was that the reputation is, and there's a phrase in French, something like, treats it like a sweet orange. It's some French phrase, which means that you really tenderly care for something. When she told the person she was staying with that she was going to come and work at Château Bedouet, they said, oh, they treat it like a sweet orange, which means that they're really caring for this chateau.
Oh,
Because we've repaired all the roof and we've been restoring the walls and just gently keeping her,
yes.
in good order. And the reputation around the whole valley is that we're taking care of their thing, not that we took their thing.
Right.
I love that.
That is
And-
fantastic.
yeah.
And I imagine that could have been a very, difficult road to navigate.
Well, it could have been. I have met a couple of expats who have large chateaus here in France, and sometimes they have an interesting attitude towards it, which is a little. I'm the chatelaine, and they don't treat me in the way that they should, and the village is so difficult. Like, I don't have that experience at all.
Right.
But I feel like that's because you feel like you own a chateau.
Yeah.
I definitely don't own a chateau. 300 women who invested in it do
Yes.
own a chateau, but everybody who comes every week, this is their chateau. And fundamentally, this chateau belongs to the village of Bedouin.
Yeah.
This is theirs.
Yeah.
We're caretaking it.
I think that's the fundamental difference right
Absolutely.
there. Yeah. And I love how you just described how you took your experience in the corporate world and brought it into, just the conversation with the mayor and being able to forge that, because it's about relationships, right? At the end of the day, like that's it. It's how you form a relationship.
Well, this is the thing that used to just drive me crazy during my career. Is that you're just constantly told, no, you can't lead like that. You need to either be tougher than that or less tough than that. Don't be so empathetic.
Why are you so assertive?
Why are you so assertive? Prove to me you know what you're talking about, which is the most annoying one. It's like, why do you think you know what you're talking about? Because it's my whole career. And so what I've learned running this business is you can absolutely run something with real authenticity at the heart of it and values of empathy and inclusion and listening and kindness and
Which seems to be dwindling these days, unfortunately.
yes, it really is not,
It's not at the
The trend.
forefront of people's
No.
minds these days.
but if you run something that way, actually not only can it work, it can be incredibly successful.
Yes.
It's actually incredibly successful. And we have not had to be tough as nails,
Yeah.
it's just business. No, that's not how we run this business. We cry about the fact that we're happy in our jobs.
Yes.
And no one has to apologize. We're like, oh, right.
Yeah, they're not crying because they're miserable and overworked or overwhelmed.
There was a movie, just this one little bit in a movie stuck with me from the time I saw it. It was, I think it was Medal of Honor, Meg Ryan, and is she going to be awarded a posthumous?
Yes, she
medal?
was a
Yes.
helicopter pilot.
Yes. And there's one moment in that film where you keep seeing it from different perspectives. Like, was she emotionally breaking down or was she really strong? And
Yeah.
at one point, she's crying and she's saying to one of the people on her team, I am showing emotion right now because I'm feeling emotion. It doesn't make me weak. And that really stuck with me my whole career. It's like, you don't have to not be emotional.
Yeah.
Right? You can't let your emotions control you.
Yes.
But you're allowed to feel what you feel. And when
Yes.
you don't feel what you feel, that's when people are becoming inauthentic. And this
Yes.
is when people are not communicating clearly because they're bottling and hiding what they're really feeling. I had a conversation with one of my bosses once where I had to confront him because he had actually humiliated me in front of my colleagues. It's one of those terrible, toxic
Yeah.
boss situations. And he'd done something that was really not appropriate in the room, and I needed to pull him out of it. And I hate confrontation. Just not my thing.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I met with him, and at the beginning of our meeting, I said to him, we're going to talk about something that's going to be hard for me, and I need you to know that I'm likely to get emotional. But what I want you to also know is that emotion is my superpower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Love
And he
that.
just
I love
sat back
that.
in his seat. It's like, oh, no. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
because it is.
Wow.
Yes.
You can be Mr. Stoic heartless over here. I'm going to feel everything I feel and say it.
Wow. That's an incredible way to go and tee up a conversation. And good for you for going and confronting him
I'm doing it.
and doing
Instead
it.
of just being furious in the corner.
Yes. So one of my last questions is, you obviously you've been so interactive in like the day-to-day operations? Because that was one of our questions, like, how hands-on are you? I was like, oh wait, you lived on the third floor and you slept like 2-3 hours a night. But you obviously like have had a lot of interactions with campers like us. Is there any one camper story or like interaction where you've either heard it from one of the other, staff, or you had an interaction where it just stuck with you in terms of like, it brought your dream, all the work that you and your best friend, your family, all the other founders have put into this. It just was like that one that like kind of sticks with you.
Well, the problem is that every week.
Yes.
Yes. I imagine.
I will say that I'll give you a couple of examples, but the one thing that I'm really, really happy about now is that at the end of every camp, I can go up to the chateau on Sunday morning and people may or may not know who I am. Whereas the first year, I was just everywhere. Yeah. I was serving you your water and I was changing the toilet rolls and I was washing the dishes, everything. And at the end of the first year, on Sunday, everybody was hugging me and hugging Tegwin as the camp director. Thank you so much. It was such a beautiful experience. And it was lots of tears, lots of emotion. It was a lot. It was beautiful. Now, everyone's hugging each other. And the first time that I went up there and I was standing in the courtyard and I was watching everyone hug each other goodbye, that's what made me cry.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, this is working. This is just something that women can do together for each other if you just give them the space to do it.
Yes.
It's not dependent on me. It's not dependent on Tegwin. It's not dependent on a person.
Yeah.
You just need to create the space for it to happen and the people connect. And so many women are friends now, that met at camp. Yes. They're all meeting up outside camp, and which I love.
Yeah.
So having said that, there've been lots and lots, lots of experiences. I think the ones that always touch me deeply is when, for some reason, if somebody is managing grief, they always come to me.
Yeah.
They'll come and they'll touch me and they'll tell me the thing that they're grieving, which can be really recent quite often.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that really touches me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this is a space where you can go through all that pain and you'll be really safe.
Yeah.
Really safe.
I totally agree. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
You have been absolutely
Wonderful.
the most wonderful person to talk
so
to.
So engaging. I know.
Like my energy level is just like kind of through the roof right now. And we really appreciate it. Philippa, thank you so incredibly much for joining us on the Mile 20 podcast.
It has been a pleasure to meet you.
It is absolutely
and
an honor.
And an honor. Yes.
And keep doing what you're doing.
Yes.
So folks, thank you for joining us at the Mile 20 podcast. And now go make Mile 20 your bitch.
Peace out.
Thank you.